Mets and Padres is where we're going to kick it off here. Marco, thoughts here on what should be a pretty interesting series. I know Mets fans or New York fans might not even know the Mets are playing because there might be a little other game going with teams that share the same colors. But in case you are looking for some baseball action, Marco, how do you suggest attacking this one?
Well, the Mets, should we call them the Mets or Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde? Because you never know what's going to happen, but it's generally a run. It's either a run of losses or runs of wins. And they put together a 7-game stretch here where they've won 5 of 7 games. Now, I'm looking at this one. They're going to be playing the Padres, who things can't get much worse. They've lost 5 in a row, 9 of their last 10. And they don't catch a break from the schedule makers either. They played yesterday, Thursday afternoon, in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. The schedule maker didn't show them any love. And then they had to travel back to the West Coast to play tonight. Well, the Mets got to enjoy the day off yesterday. So they got to hang out, in beautiful San Diego. Love that city, love that ballpark. I think the San Diego ballpark is second only to PNC. Yes, I'm biased, but if you ask anybody that's a baseball enthusiast, they put that in the top 3 or 4 ballparks. If you ever get a chance, check it out. I'm going to go ahead and look at the Mets in this situation. Everything is in their favor. Not only are the Padres struggling, obviously going 1-9 in the last 10 games, but when you look at those 10 games, they've been held to 3 runs or less in 7 of the 10 games. If you're not scoring runs, guys, it's tough to win ball games. They're going to be facing Christian Scott for the Mets, who's coming off his 2 best games of the year. He's allowed just 1 run in his last 2 starts, which spanned 10 2/3 innings, and his strikeout to walk ratio 13-4. On the flip side to that, the Padres send Michael King to the mound. He's allowed 8 runs over his last 2 starts. That was 9 2/3 innings of work. But the bigger alarming red flag for me is the strikeout to walk ratio. He only had 6 strikeouts to 5 walks. Not good. I'm going to go ahead and look at the Mets here. And here's a little stat on Michael King. When he starts for a game and he is installed as a home favorite of -150 or less, what we're looking at tonight, just his team's just 4-11 in his starts over his career. Let's go ahead and take the Mets tonight to grab game 1.
Taking the Mets. I like it. A little plus money to kick off the double play that Marco has here for you. Let's talk Battle of LA. Yesterday on the show, Marco, we kind of cautioned people, hey, no Shohei in the lineup for the Dodgers. Maybe tread a little lightly. D-backs may have been live. We end up cashing that ticket for the folks, so happy about that. But it looks like Shohei should be back in the lineup. Major favorites here. Not surprising. For what it's worth, too, Sasaki, who started the season pretty rough, kind of changed his pitching rotation, added a splitter in, and since that point, the ERA has been coming down a little bit here. So you're seeing them about a $2 favorite. Shop around, you can get a little less. What do you think, Marco? Split this game in half? Is that the way you think we should attack it?
Well, I'm looking at it in the Angels. They have not officially named a starter yet tonight, so you might end up with the old bullpen type game. But you're right. The Dodgers, that was the getaway game last night. Looking at them, and Ohtani, coming off pitching the night before, so he deserved the day off, and rightfully so. But the Dodgers, you talk about this team, even with last night's loss, they're 16-5 the last 21 games. And with Ohtani out of the lineup, they only lost 3-2. They were in that game the whole way. The Angels obviously do hold a little bit of a schedule advantage because they were off yesterday while the Dodgers played in Arizona. But unlike what I mentioned in the previous game, flying back home from Arizona to LA is a little different than flying back home from Philadelphia to San Diego. So I don't see that being a problem for the Dodgers tonight. And you look at this and what you said about Sasaki, he has been razor sharp over his last 3 starts. He's allowed just 4 runs total while posting a strikeout to walk ratio. I love that. stat, 19-3. When you're doing that and putting up those kind of numbers on the strikeouts to walks, that to me is the best indicator. You can use all of the advanced metric numbers that you want to use. If you're striking out that many people, that tells me you have full command of your entire arsenal and you're fooling the hitters. And that's what you want to see. Now, the one caution I will say about that is in those last 3 games with those stats that we had, Sasaki is going to be pitching against the Angels for a second time in a matter of 3 weeks. And we've talked about it a lot that teams, pitchers first time around the league have the advantage over the hitters. When they start to see him 2, 3, 4 times down the road, it starts to change. But the Angels, I just don't see them getting enough runs here. I don't think that he's going to have the dominant performance that he had in the first meeting. It'll be a little bit less, but I still think the Dodgers are the much better lineup at this point. They're playing better. And with the questionable pitcher for the Angels and what they've been giving up recently, I'm going to go ahead, take the Dodgers. I don't want to lay that big number, though. So what do we do to bring that price down? Well, we go to the first 5 innings and we lay a half a run. And by doing so, we're going to get this down to -125, a much manageable number for me. I have tolerance. Some people are lactose intolerant. I have a big juice intolerance. Okay. So I want to find ways not to risk a lot of money to win money. And that's where we're going to go here and do it first 5 minus a half a run for the second play. And hopefully, guys, we can do what we did last week on the show and go 2-0 again for you guys with the free plays.
And sure, the LA Angels have been decent, at least in their last outing in the first 5. LA Dodgers are the best team in the league in the first 5 as far as runs scored average. So love the thought process there, Marco. Huge weekend. As we mentioned, folks, use that code Belmont10. That's the way to save $10 on the package. And Marco, correct me if I'm wrong, what you're going to do this weekend is give folks access to the Belmont, and they can also grab the plays that you're going to be running place from place to go see as well. So whole weekend of action you can grab from Marco for one great price. Correct, Marco?
That is correct. And when I get done doing this show, what's up next? Well, that's the deli. The deli will be open. We'll have game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. I'll break that down for you on the deli. We'll also have some WNBA as well. Check out my Belmont package. You talked about the coupons. We've got 2 specials. If you've never bought anything from WagerTalk, this is the great time to introduce yourself to WagerTalk. You can get my Belmont package on Saturday. Now, what does that include? Well, it includes any race that I use on the Saturday card, the Belmont, which is going to be raced at Saratoga this year for the final time while Belmont's being renovated. But you'll not only get all of my horse racing plays, you're also going to get my sports plays. And guys, last 4 months, we're up 44 units for the clients with all of our plays. Those horse racing plays, and, we joke about it all the time that when we get to the Triple Crown season, if you go to gambling Twitter or go to YouTube, there are everybody's an authority this time of the year on horses, okay? Guys, I've owned, raced, and bred horses since 1986. Okay. So when it comes to talking horses, I do know what I'm talking about. And we've got coverage for Saturday. Now, I teased you about my Saturday. Everybody says they love the Vegas life. Well, after I do last call, I'll be heading over to Mandalay Bay because we've got an Aces game on Saturday. I'll be catching the Aces at 12 o'clock. And hopefully there'll be no overtime so that I can run from the Michelob Ultra Arena into Mandalay Bay to the sports book so that I can catch the Belmont Stakes on Saturday. And when to watch that, I'll be watching the early races on my phone during the Aces game. But then after that, we've got a game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. That's a full Saturday here in Vegas, guys, and I'm looking forward to it. I love all of the action. The city will be a buzz. And yesterday we actually even had an earthquake. My house shook. It hit like 4 miles from where we live here in Summerlin.